BARDA is helping us launch, if you will, our what they call a method comparison or a clinical trial. It looks like by the end of this month, we'll be commencing that.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Paul Case. He is the Senior Vice President of Commercial Operations for Lumos Diagnostics. And Paul, it's good to see you. How are you?
Steve, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, good to have you along. Company out with a news release today talking about some news out from BARDA awarding you a grant, in essence, almost $3 million. So let's start there. Tell me who BARDA is.
First of all, we're thrilled with their support and their partnership. BARDA is an acronym. It stands for Biomedical Advanced Research and Development Authority. They're basically part of U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, and their goal basically is to help to support through non-diluted funding companies like ourselves to be able to scale products that and resources they believe will make a difference with particular missions, and in this case, it's antimicrobial resistance.
This is obviously with FebriDx, which is your test that you're talking about. So explain to everyone about this particular test and really the unmet need that this test is you're hoping will be able to fill.
Right. So thanks, Steve. So clearly, there's an issue we believe with antimicrobial resistance across the globe, and so this partnership with BARDA helps us expand authorized testing to CLIA-waived point-of-care settings in the U.S. And what that means is right now the test is FDA cleared, but it's in a moderate setting. And so that setting basically limits us in a way to the number of physicians and the impact we can provide with how healthcare is administered in the U.S. And so that's about 20,000 targets, if you will, 20,000 offices. The CLIA waiver, which again, BARDA is helping to support through the study and the application to the FDA, that CLIA waiver then opens that target market up to just under 300,000 clinics and physicians. And those range from physician offices, urgent care clinics, other outpatient clinics where empiric antibiotic prescription is often a common practice because there aren't any other tools to be able to help identify bacterial versus non-bacterial infection.
Yeah, and so people understand the overprescription of antibiotics is extremely common in a number of places, including hospitals, but can be really detrimental to the patient when they have too much antibiotic.
That's correct. So there's a lot of I got kind of scary numbers out there, Steve, when it comes to what this looks like in, say, the year 2040, 2050. But the fact is, when someone like yourself or myself is taking an antibiotic where our body is suffering, for example, from a viral infection, that antibiotic is meant to destroy the bad bacteria, if you will. But unfortunately, along with it, it destroys your good bacteria, if you will. And now you have drug resistance that forms, and suddenly now you have, unfortunately, if it continues in this direction, you'll have a lot of folks who aren't able to fight off bacterial infections based on the drug-resistant bacteria that is now in their body.
Okay, let's get to timelines here. Obviously, this money is very important for the next stages. So what are those next stages? What should people be looking out for?
Yeah, so what they're looking out for is basically we're a small company. Again, Carlsbad, California is our corporate office here in the U.S. And like all small companies, we have a burn rate, right? And so these clinical trials from the FDA can be, let's just say, not inexpensive. And so BARDA is helping us launch, if you will, our what they call a method comparison or a clinical trial. It looks like by the end of this month, we'll be commencing that. Those clinical trials can range in time based on the amount of infection and the amount of patients that are enrolled. But generally speaking, you go through that process, which again should commence in about 4 weeks for us, and then move into the application itself to the FDA after that trial has concluded.
All right, Paul, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much. Good update and congratulations on this grant, and excited to see the next stage of work.
Really appreciate it, Steve. Thanks so much for having us, and appreciate your support. And as we move on to what we feel is a very worthy mission around antimicrobial resistance. Thank you.
Well, makes a lot of sense. Paul Case, the Senior Vice President of Commercial Operations for Lumos Diagnostics.